Good morning, beautiful people. How is everybody this morning? I'm going to hang on to my beanie until it gets too warm, which is about 5 minutes away. I just found this one under the car or behind the car seat. I quite like it, so I don't know where it's been all winter, but it's got a nice little woolly thing underneath. So I'll milk the last 5 minutes out of it. This is Pathways to Contentment 5, and I've got some pathways I'd like to go over. Before I do that, there's one thing I want to discuss and just throw it out there so as I've said it. And that is the scamming online epidemic that's going on at the moment in the West. My brother was telling me just the other night how in America alone, apparently $2 billion gets scammed off Americans every year by these online or text message scammers. Come here, son. And got the neighbour's little dog out for a walk. He's such a good little dog. Beautiful. He's had a little haircut. And oh dear, this is a lovely little creek. This actually goes right along next to my house, probably about 100 metres away. Crystal clear. I don't know if you can see the bottom there at all. Too shiny at the moment. But yeah, it's a lovely little creek. It's one of the main creeks or drains that drain through the town. Runoff, channel, whatever you want to call it. It's natural though. And then they've embellished it with banks and stuff along the way. She loves a good little swim. Good girl. Little fella's unsure what to do. We won't let him in though. So yeah, I just thought this would be a good avenue for me to just throw out about the scamming situation. That I've got 2 girlfriends that are being scammed right now. Well, two ladies I know, and they don't realise it, and they've been getting scammed for the last couple of years. They call it the long game. When you get scammed for a certain period of time, it's called the long game. I think that's the terminology. And maybe these victims of the scams aren't aware of that terminology maybe. But yeah, it's called the long game. Why scam somebody once when you can milk them weekly or monthly or yearly? Okay? So it's something we've all got to look out for. And the way they scam people, every time, from what I can gather, it's through the avenue of love. I love you. You love me. We love each other. Please send money. Okay? Please send money. That's what it's all about. It boils down to, basically, if you're in a relationship with somebody that's overseas and you're sending them money, and you've never met them or even spoken to them sometimes, that's a scam. You're having your ass scammed, okay? So what you need to do to fix that is to, if you want to keep the relationship or see if the relationship carries on, is you want to carry on the relationship but don't send the money, okay? Don't send the money, just carry on the relationship and just see how the relationship goes from there, see how it develops. That's the true test of a relationship. It's not about money. It shouldn't be. It should be about the two of you clicking and really liking each other. Just beware of that. I wanted to throw it out there because The people that are being scammed won't listen, they won't have it. And they're... Oh! Okay, that just got cut off because the leash got snatched out of my hand partially. So, the leash just got snatched out of my hand. In the excitement, oh! The little fella is getting carried away. There's the lead. Come here, hey. Okay, I'll keep a firm hold on that. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Right? Carry on the relationship by all means, but don't send any more money and see how it goes. That's going to be the true test, okay? Right. Moving on. For all my Filipino friends, I'm wearing my favourite shirt at the moment, actually. I bought this and I've just found it in the car just the other day, and I love it. The material's great, it's beautiful and soft, and the colours are really cool. They're a lot of fun. Like when I put it on, I feel good. So there you go. Can't wait to get back to the Philippines, to be honest. Hopefully this year. More dogs arriving. She's on the other side, so she'll be okay. Alright, so moving on to the first point, the first pathway. Before I do, I just want to reiterate one of the pathways in possibly the last video or the second last video, and that was the issue of swearing. I just want to go over that again quickly because I didn't really emphasize it last time. It's such a big deal. The older I'm getting, the more it's becoming a big deal and the more I'm noticing it. None of us should have to put up with swearing when others are doing it around us. We shouldn't have to be locked in that circle or yeah, sorry, a bit all over the place this morning. Should be right now. We shouldn't have to be locked in the circle of an environment of swearing as fully grown adults. And recently I found myself in at least two situations where I was locked in with these people that were being disrespectful to everybody else around them. And that's exactly what it is. It's being disrespectful and thoughtless around other people, other public people in public. I mean, we've got to address that as a culture, I think. It's just madness. I mean, most people I find, most decent people don't swear. Yet, there's these few people that think they can show up to a club. It might be a shooting club, or it might be a boxing club, or in the case I was at, it was a Muay Thai boxing club. And I just stopped going. I lost the interest in going. Well, that was one of the reasons. It wasn't all of the reason. And I've just observed how unfair it is, and it's strange that we don't address it. We're addressing smoking, we're addressing, not that they're the same, but we're addressing smoking in public, aren't we? Well, why should people have to have their ear holes assaulted by these disrespectful people, especially when they've got their children there? An example is the shooting I observed on the weekend, a club. It was great, everybody seemed normal enough. Except there was this one bloke, and he was, from what I can gather, one of the, people in charge. Don't know if he was in charge, but he was up there helping, He seemed to be a bit of an authority in the environment, that particular environment. Anyway, every time I heard him talk, and it was loud too. These swearers don't often whisper it, it's quite loud voices. F this, F that. And there's kids walking around, there's ladies around, women around, children around, and this bloke's F this, F that. And I'm looking around thinking, is this okay? And nobody was blinking an eyelid. It was like, oh yeah, whatever. And I just had the thought, well, what if we all just decided to talk like that as grown adults? F this, F that, at the social gatherings, with children walking around. Is that the culture we want to be in? It's pissing me off just thinking about it. I mean, does it go on in other cultures? I bet you it doesn't go on in Asia. I bet you they've got more manners and respect and courtesy towards each other, based on my experience with recent travel there. All these things that go on in our culture are pointing me more and more towards living abroad, where people have more courtesy and respect for each other. Because like I've said in another episode, swearing is disrespectful and discourteous to others, especially when there's women and children involved. You're a grub if you're going to go out in public and swear around women and children, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe not a grub, but you know, you're heading that way. Another example was I got on a bus in Asia, and an Australian hopped on the bus and he sat down the back next to me and my brother, and he just started swearing in this small shuttle bus. F this, F that. It was just embarrassing, you know what I mean? I couldn't wait to get out of the bus. I don't know if it's just Australia or what, but they don't care who's around, what they're doing, they'll just swear. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it's just really starting to turn my guts, to be honest. What's the other example? I wrote it down. And the other situation was I started doing more Thai lessons. And they prided themselves on family environment. And there was literally 2-year-old little kid, you know, maybe more than one, getting around while we're skipping and whatever. You know, there was women there training, etc. And the actual bloke that was in charge and the people down for him would swear, F this, sometimes I'd hear the C word, at this family gym. And they all seemed like nice, really nice, normal blokes. And I was just really surprised and disappointed. And it was one of the reasons I left. I mean, I don't think they realise what they're doing, but the owner or the bloke in charge, he would have been late 30s. And it brings me to my first pathway, actually, the point of my first pathway. It's connected to what I'm going to now say. And that is, and it's related to a pathway I did in another episode, but it's worded different and it's a bit different. And it's the pathway is the projections of others, whether it be swearing or bad behaviour, arrogance, negative traits. The projections of others onto us, we can carry on, whether they be personality traits or are they personality traits? Are they something that, are they a projection onto us that they've picked up from somebody before them, and that person before them and before them, going back 1,000 years or 200 years, you know? So I have mentioned it before, but I just thought I'd throw it out there again, because it is worded different. It's the projections of others that are put onto us, and we can pick them up, especially in scenarios where you find yourself as an apprentice, and you are studying, and it means a lot to you, and you want to do well with it. Come on, we'll go up here. You want to do well in it, and the person that's training you, you're naturally going to look up to, if this is really what you want to work on and achieve. You're going to look up to that person. And if they're projecting arrogance or stupidity or swearing or bad manners, you're young. Likelihood is you're young. You're doing an apprenticeship or you're training as something. You're going to pick up, here's a farmer's friend. You're going to grab that. You're probably going to pick up, depending on your awareness, I suppose, you're probably going to pick up their negative projections and carry them on with you. Now, I know I've said that in another pathway, so I'm just, I guess, reiterating it in a different way, and it's just worth repeating. What else have I said about it? Basically, I go on to say, I'm not going to, well, I probably have in the past. Well, I have in the past, but I'm not going to carry those projections on, those negative projections. I'm not going to carry them any further. They're too heavy. I'm going to lighten my load. Come on, son. Beautiful boy. I'm going to, they probably got the shits because I am dawdling a bit here. We'll go down this way. We'll keep walking. Come on. I'm going to take my own path, or create my own path, as far as positivity goes. And I'm dropping the negative crap from others. I'm going to try and hold the phone up higher from now on. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. And I'm suggesting the point of this pathway, go around, good boy, go around. The point of this pathway is to, that pathway is to drop all those negative projections and pick up, well, allow for the positive projections that were instilled to you as a young person that you've forgotten. Maybe because it's boring. Maybe that's why we forget the manners and the chivalry. And women can be chivalrous as well. It shouldn't just be a male thing. It seems to have a male, character or category to it, doesn't it? But chivalrous should be women and men. So, drop all the negative projections from others, and that will allow all the stuff that you have been taught by our parents and by those mindful, respectful people. Start remembering all that. Yes, it might be boring if that's the reason, but I tell you what, you get a lot more out of it, especially as you get older. I'm getting so much more positive feedback by being thoughtful, courteous, respectful to others with my manners. Please, thank you, and I really take the time to say it. Try and make that eye contact and just project that appreciation from any simple transaction with another. It doesn't matter who it is. And you know what? You make their day, and they make yours. What's down here? Never been down here before. Come on, love. Come on. We'll go down here. Looks like the creek. Go around. Hey, go around. Good girl. So, looks like the creek's quite dry. But that's interesting. I've never been along here. And I'd try and zoom, but I'll end up in a pickle. So, we won't. There's a duck there. There was 2 little baby ducks the other day, like just out of the egg. We'll go back. Oh, now they're going to trip me here on these wet stones. Oh, shit! Alright, so that's that pathway. Reiterated, but worth a reiteration. What's the next one? Next pathway is we need to free ourselves from the judgment of others. So that's something to ponder. I don't particularly want to spell it out. I'll try and throw in a couple of examples. But if we can free ourselves from our perceived view of the judgment of others, because often it's not even the judgment of others, it's just our perception of the judgment of others. At the end of the day, people don't care about us anywhere near as much as we think they do. So we're prisoners of a perceived judgment that's not even actually real most of the time. On occasion it might be, but most of the time it wouldn't be. Okay, so we need to free ourselves of this illusion. You know, we need to free ourselves of the illusion. And even if in some cases it's factual, we need to free ourselves of that too. So long as our path is positive and right and proper and courteous and respectful and thoughtful towards ourselves and others, you know you're on the right path. And anybody's judgments, come on, Highness, good girl, anybody's judgments become null and void. So that's the test, and that's how you know whether it's a judgment you need to free yourself from, because if it doesn't represent any of those points, you know it's the wrong path. and you know the right path to get on it. The right path is all of those things I just said. Okay? And I've signed off on that pathway by saying detach and send love. Don't carry that negativity with you. Remember, you only want to be carrying the good stuff, the positive stuff. We don't want to be carrying the heavy negative crap from other people, usually or often. All right, next pathway. To help secure and attain and maintain contentment is to ask the advice and opinions of others when needed. It works on a couple of different levels. One is it makes that person feel valued. Especially if they're an important person in your life, well, treat them like they're an important person in your life. Often as we get older, we develop the habit of we know everything, and to ask advice and opinions from others, especially when it's, you know, really an important issue, we often see it as a, oh, that's the tree he was talking about. I think Mick, if anybody's interested in listening to a character on YouTube, his name's Bushman Mick. He talks about Australian peanuts. I'm pretty sure that's them. He gathers them and eats them. He explained it on one of his videos, and that'd be them. I think they're edible. So that's interesting. I'll try them when I just check them. A couple of characters kicking around. The problem with them is they leave their crap. They make little messes everywhere they go. You know, well, obviously, I guess they got some problems. But I tell you what, if they were just more thoughtful and courteous and respectful towards others, you know, they probably wouldn't be in the situation they're in. So this could be an actual example of what I've just spoken about. Does a bad attitude lead us to a result like this? I would say yes, it certainly can. It certainly can lead us to that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, ask the advice and opinions of others when required, and you know what, even maybe when not required sometimes, it's a way of letting them know that they're important in your life, and you know, that you'd be lost without them. Often, like I said, we forget to do this because we like, especially as men, we like to think we know everything and we don't need advice from others. But that's foolhardy. 2 heads are better than one, 10 heads are better than one. Alright, so asking the advice or opinions of others when required, it's a good way to comfort them and give them a boost for the day. And you could get a really good answer out of it that could save you a lot of time or money or both, or heartache. Okay, so pathways to, after the dog up there. Pathways to, there you go. Oh, stood on a damn bindi. Pathways to increasing our, there's some campers up there. Camp up there. Anyway, pathway to contentment is to ask the opinions and advice of others. Include others in your life, you know, by doing that. That's a way to include others in our lives. That's a strangler fig. One day that fig is going to totally encompass the tree that it's on, and then the tree will die, and this strangler fig, the tree. Alright, so there you go, an important little pathway that we often overlook or aren't even aware of. Let's go down there. Never been down here before, but I'd like to go some different tracks. Get a bit sick of going the same old, same old. Plenty of them in there, and that's all free, which is great. They stopped it a while ago, but I think they realised it was bad for business, or there was some reason, so they cranked it up again. Down here. Henry, come on. Good boy. Come on, son. Okay, so that's it. Next pathway. I've written it down as a separate pathway, but to me it seems and sounds connected to the previous one, or the one before the last one. And that is, we need to liberate ourselves from what we think people will say. Liberate ourselves from what we think people will say or think about us. That's a pathway worth mentioning. It's, like I say, a lot of these are related, I think. But I'm wording it differently, and that can give a whole new life to the pathway. We need to liberate ourselves. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe it is a pathway that stands on its own. Maybe it's not as connected as I thought. But anyway, we need to liberate ourselves from what we think people will think or say. And you know what? That's from what we think people will think or say in our culture. If you were to put yourself in another country, it probably wouldn't exist, that thought or that concern, because that culture is more accepting of the issue. Like, let's use the example of being a ladyboy. Well, I suppose being a ladyboy is being gay, isn't it? Although they dress up as women. We don't have that in Australia, really. Oh, we do a little bit, but not like they have over there. And there you go. So why don't we have it in Australia? Obviously, it's an expression some men want to take on, but our culture squashes it. Whereas in Thailand, they rejoice it. It's actually a tourist thing. So isn't that interesting? So just trying to bring an example of why we need to free ourselves of what we think people will say or think. Don't worry about it. We got to get over that, because it's liberating to not worry so much about what people will think or say, or what we think they will think or say, because really it's only what we think they will think or say. They're not going to say it to our face. So yeah, it's an illusion or a delusion, an unhealthy one. We need to free ourselves from it. I know at least one person. Well, I probably know many, but this one person, they've revealed themselves to be quite concerned about what other people think or say. And it's only natural, I suppose, but I think we need to ditch it, because it's just an unnecessary annoyance. It doesn't matter so long as we're travelling the path of respect, courtesy, thoughtfulness, admiration, appreciation for others. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. Not the judgments or thoughts of others. I think that sums that up. Okay, next pathway. Again, a probably related pathway, and that is, don't try and impress others. That's a waste of your time. You've got to be trying to impress yourself and those that love you, so long as their love's coming from a healthy place. Okay, they're the people that matter. You're starting with yourself and the people involved in your life in a healthy way. They're the ones that you need to impress, if that's the word. Yourself. Oh, shit. There's a dead lizard. Hey, come on. Come on, son. There's a dead, I thought I'd press pause there. There's a dead lizard back there, and one little fella wanted to roll in it. So I got him just in time. Anyway, here we are. This is nice. Yeah, so that's the pathway there. Don't try and impress others, strangers and all that. Oh yeah, that's right, it's coming to me now. I think that's a big thing. How often have you been in a situation with a loved one or a friend, and the two of you encounter a stranger, and that stranger can proceed to try and impress that stranger, and sometimes to your expense. I've been in situations like that, and I've done that. And it's a terrible way to live. Okay, we don't try and impress other people, especially at somebody else's expense, especially if that somebody is somebody we love or look up to, or a friend. That means you're disloyal and you're not a friend worth having. Okay, so that's something I think a lot of people aren't even aware of, because it goes on often. I've been the person that they're trying to impress at the expense of their partner or whoever it might be, or their friend, and I just feel embarrassed. Nobody has been impressed. In fact, everybody has been unimpressed. Me, the friend, because you've just made a fool of yourself. Okay? So let's not try and impress others. Come on. Oh, we'll go and have a look here. That's a big one in regards to seeking... This is the back of the waterfall. That's a big one in regards to seeking long-term, we'll go up close, long-term contentment is to be honest and loyal to yourself and your friends. Around trying to impress strangers, and certainly not at the expense of integrity and that of your friends. Okay? So that's a big one, and one that stands on its own. I thought it was related, but it's not really. It's a major, important pathway for self-contentment. Come on, love. Is to don't try and impress others, okay? Especially not at the expense of your loved ones. And even if it's not at the expense of your loved ones, don't try and impress other people. You've only got to impress yourself and your parents, really, and your partner and your siblings and your friends, and you've got to impress them with respect and courtesy and manners and thoughtfulness. They're the pathways to contentment, are those. And I might pick those out and really try and make them shine in a pathway, or at least summarize these series on those words. And you know what, it's easy to say these things, to say these words, but it's another to actually get them into our heads and live by them, when it's just so easy to do. And if we do it, I'm telling you, the daily rewards you get from being thoughtful and courteous and well-mannered and appreciative toward others, you get hour by hour, day by day, bliss and contentment if you incorporate these concepts and ditch all the heavy, unnecessary crap that we've picked up from others' bad habits and from their projections, based on projections from their previous bad influences. Okay, next pathway. As others, next pathway to contentment is, especially as adults, we don't need the permission of others to do what we want to do in life. You know, I guess that's really aimed at our parents. I just used the word permission, but I wrote down and I meant approval. We don't need the approval of others in our life, especially as adults, to do what we want to do. Okay, because generally people only think inside their box. You know, you're going to be very lucky if you can find somebody that can think outside the box for themselves and for you in your life. So as an adult, don't dwell on relying on the approval from others, you know, especially our parents. So long as we're following the righteous path of the key words that I've mentioned in this video, you're going to be okay if you are working towards being a great human being, thoughtful, caring, courteous, respectful, and those other terms I used. Okay, so you don't need the approval. That's a free pass from relying on the approval of others if you develop and work on the traits I've mentioned. no matter what you want to do in life. Having said that, if you think it's a reasonable thing to ask their opinion on something, to show your courtesy and respect, or run it by them, you can do it. Or you should do it, maybe. But you don't have to get it. And you probably won't. Based on my experience, I'm quite outside the box with the different things I've done. Actually, I've done a lot of different things in life. I realised it's because that's my personality. Initially, I felt like a failure because I didn't stick at things. Mind you, I was a hairdresser for 10 years. You know, how long have I got to do it for? And then I was something else, and I did something else. I've realised that's just my personality. I must just like to mix stuff up a bit. Come on, mate. What's that? Come on, come on, come on. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, come on. I don't know why he wants to roll there. Nothing there, but he wanted to roll on it. Anyway. Yeah, so don't rely on the approval of others. If they don't approve of what you want to do, consider their opinion. Okay, because it's probably coming from a position of love. Consider it, but don't stop what you wanted to do because they don't think it's a good idea. Let their idea go with love and move on. Go, come on, mate. Go around. Good boy. Go around. Henry, go around. Come on. Okay, so that's that pathway. I can't think of much else to say on that. On to the next one. And the next one is, don't forget those who have taught us and helped us or inspired us. We need to honour them in life. Getting a little bit teary towards the end of that pathway, thinking of my dad. We need to, good advice and good examples we've received from others in life. It's important to let them shine through in us. And that way, that person can live on through your life and that of your children, etc. So it's important to honour them, no matter who they are. You know, we've all met and we've all had good people in our lives. And it's so important to give them credit too, you know. Whenever possible. It's often we take the credit for ourselves all the time. Oh, that was my idea. That was all me. Don't do that, because everything we know was really taught to us by somebody else, wasn't it? When you think about it, it wasn't your idea. Somebody else took the time to show you. And that's a big thing, for them to take the time to show you stuff and to pay for you, you know, to live. There's a nice scene. Trying to keep a good posture, and I'm going to take my little beanie off. Yeah, it's important to give each other credit, you know. Let's give each other credit all the time, you know. If you had a good employer that taught you many things, like I have had several different really good employers that taught me things. I'm doing a house reno at the moment, and when I finish it, I'm going to give credit to my old boss and to my mum and dad. You know, if I do the video on the last, if I do the video of the finale of the reno, which should be happening in a month's time, I'm going to give credit to those guys, because without the three of them, I wouldn't have been in a situation to even do the reno. Okay? One of them gave me the skills and the confidence, and the others gave me employment along the line, and encouragement, you know. Not initial encouragement, but certainly encouragement now, which is great. And in return, well, not so much in return, but I'm certainly going to honour them in that video, and I honour them in my mind as well. So that's that pathway. Let's not forget those who have helped us, and honour them whenever we can. To whoever we can, to whoever will listen. It's such a forgotten thing. But by bringing it back to our mind and sharing it and passing on that respect and thoughtfulness toward and about others, to others, is all positive vibe. It's going to create and help create and maintain that good, that feeling of goodness in our soul. We're sharing goodness, thoughts, happy thoughts, we're passing them on, we're giving others credit, we're giving others appreciation. All right, so that's that pathway, and a wonderful pathway, and one that's never mentioned, but it's one I've thought of, come up with, and I love it. I think it's great. All right, what's the next pathway? That is it, beautiful people. I'm going to finish it there, and I'm going to concentrate a bit more on the actual walk itself for the rest of the way. We've taken a lot of little tracks that we don't normally take, and it's great. All right, so everybody have a wonderful day, and yeah, happy days, and I will see you in the next, I'll see you in, I don't know with the best, I'll see you in the next one. No, I did that wrong and it didn't stop, so here we go. Goodbye.